And you, as always, there I see Ira and Corey. Hello, boys. How the heck are you? You good?
What up?
Fantastic.
Good to hear. Is this loud enough? We good? We good to go here? Early on, it's a little bit of a hustle. You know how it goes. We got cameras to set up.
Back in the old days when we first started, we used to could take some time to do the mic checks. Because
that's right.
Recorded.
We don't do that anymore.
No.
Don't have that luxury. Now we're just flying blind.
Yeah, we get right into it. Let's say hello to our friends at Register Sausage. Yay, sausage! Big time.
Big week for Register Sausage.
Big week, yeah.
Had the contest. Ben came up with the idea. He and Will came up with the idea of doing a little giveaway, 5 packages of Register Sausage. All you had to do was retweet them on Twitter. Boom. Or I think like share it on Instagram, tag somebody maybe. And if you did a recipe, they give you a bonus. Your favorite Register recipe, they give you a bonus entry. And we've got 2 winners. We're going to announce the winners. They get a 5-pack of Register Sausage delivered to them, and they'll also get a new Seminole Headlines T-shirt, part of our merch drop. That people are going to hear about.
Man, this is overwhelming. You're coming out the box swinging here. There's so much to get to. We've got to set up the way. Look at this. So here it is. It's on the. If you're watching the video on Warchant TV, you can see these shirts now, and they're fantastic. Your daughter did an amazing job, by the way.
Good job, Alexa.
She's very talented.
We did a great job creating the brand.
Correct.
Well,
right.
There's no
she
doubt.
brought it to life. Though.
Yeah. She did. But we're the brand creators.
So I shared the Headlines logo. On I don't know if Matthew can bring that up.
Can you zoom that logo?
I shared it on Twitter the other day. It was very popular. People
there
liked it.
It is.
Look at that.
Look at there it is. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you see what my guy on Twitter did to me though?
With your fuzzy hair,
man. I love it. Well, he not only did he gray it, but then he thinned it out.
The gray's already there. Alexa did the gray.
He thinned it out.
Yeah. That was kind of cold, right?
Well, it was loving. It was endearing.
Yeah. It wasn't necessary.
It's a clean look, man. You're right, Troy, in the chat. That is true. It looks good, doesn't it? That's beautiful.
And we're not going to, quibble about the fact that Corey's now super skinny or the fact that Jeff doesn't really wear the glasses all that much anymore.
I wear them when I get home.
Okay. So this is your home look.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we now have some shirts available. We got the Corey Classic.
I think Maryland could be a problem. Yep.
That's a good one. So you get that. You have that choice there. I think we have others. We'll go through. We're going to roll out.
Well, the main one, the one on the right, is the one we're doing here because it ties in with the registers and the giveaway.
So 2 lucky winners. I'm going to announce them right now. One is from Twitter, Adam Hill, at Adam C. Hill.
Hey, dog. A-Train.
He's the winner on Twitter. And on Instagram, the winner was Trip Taylor.
Nice.
_ BT3.
Trip Taylor. That's a cool name.
And Registers is going to DM you guys to get your shipping information and send you your package. 5 packs of sausage and for the Super Bowl.
Adam and Trip are
a Yay sausage. Yeah. Adam and Trip, and they get a Yay sausage T-shirt too.
Correct.
It's a gorgeous looking shirt too.
It's all gorgeous.
Yes, good job, guys. We'll continue to promote, and then we'll tell you about the website, Ira, for them to be able to go pick it up.
Exactly. It's Seminole Headlines.myshopify.com. It's on the Shopify site. That's who's hosting it, and it's really easy. Seminole Headlines.myshopify.com. We'll tweet it later also. But man, if you guys want a Headlines shirt, we
wear it with pride too. Obviously,
I mean with a lot of pride.
Yes, yeah.
And you might want to taunt your other friends who don't have them. That's the spirit that we bring with Seminole Headlines.
The key is to buy 2 at a time. Because you just don't know.
You don't know what your body's going to be in 6 months.
Also, who you're going to run into that's saying, I really want one of those. Well, I bought 2.
I got one in my pocket.
Yeah, so everybody buy 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just so you'll be ready for the rush.
Yeah. You got plenty of time for the holidays to get your holiday shopping in.
Yay, sausage. There you go.
And yay, Alexa. Good work.
Yeah, yay, Alexa.
Yeah,
right.
Crush that graphic.
Because the 3 of us wouldn't have done anything close to that.
Clearly. We've been 13 years.
We haven't bothered to do it
I
once.
asked her, I was like, could you do a logo for us? And she's like, yeah, what do you I was like, I don't know. A football, the word Seminole Headlines. I don't know. A basketball. I don't know.
And she was like, I got it.
Yeah.
Well,
say no more, Dad.
You somehow produce talented kids. I know
we all did.
It's a miracle.
We all did, man. It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
Brady's out here making his
making a baseball team.
Yeah,
incredible. Yeah. Now I want to come up to a game when the season starts. I want to put a little pressure on him. Either in the stands, cheer him on.
I think Corey's going to handle the pressure part.
He gets a lot of pressure from his old man.
You still?
I'm interested to see how I'll be now that he's he's actually on a team that I have no impact. I've never met the coach. I don't think I'm supposed to talk to the coach.
Oh, you're
Like,
going to be totally calm now.
well, I think I'm
Are
like,
you going to be doing the box scores and claiming that he should be an all-star?
yeah, well, no, that's
all district,
different.
all state.
That's different. That's when he was 8. That's when it mattered.
You're going to send the batting averages off to the local paper?
Yeah, I got ties there.
Hey, AJC, what's going on here?
My kid's on the freshman team batting .311.
What are we doing? Let's get this in here. Yeah. No, so good. Yeah, it's exciting times. Exciting times. By the way, tomorrow, just so you guys know, I've got Mike Norvell ready to roll. They confirmed this morning. So what should we talk to Mike about? I'm going to talk to him in the morning. We're going to record it. We'll have it on the JCS. We'll have it on Warchant TV. We'll have it everywhere, of course. But I'm kind of curious. Well, if you guys wanted to posit a question here, what would you go with?
One thing I was thinking about, just, the hype is really starting to crank up.
It is
Bill Connolly's coming out with some stuff talking about how Florida State, I think, has the most returning production of any team in college football. There was a PFF. I did a story on the site yesterday. PFF is put out a list of like the top 10 players at every position coming back, and based on their PFF grades and what they expect from them coming back. And Florida State has a skill player at every position in the top 10 in the country. Jordan Travis is the number 3 quarterback. Trey Benson, I think, is number 5 or number 6 running back. Johnny Wilson's like the number 7 receiver. Jaheim Bell's the number 4 tight end. Florida State's the only school in the country. There's only 2 schools that have 4 skill players on their team listed at the top 10 of their positions. And Florida State's the only school with 1 at each of the positions. So, man, there's a lot of I wonder if he's starting to feel, the expectations.
Should I start with like just kind of a jovial, better not suck next year?
Yeah.
Like just
not even better not suck. Better not just be 8 win. Don't give us 8.
No half
4.
stepping, Mike. Let's talk about it. I'm sure you would love
hey,
that.
There's
February.
Real pressure that comes with expectations, man.
Well, but I do wonder how his messaging changes. Coaches bring different messages to their meetings and workouts, and every year is different. I think late in the season when we started asking him some things and what was on the table, and he kept saying, well, we always talk, it's always about us. It's not about the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So do you keep that, or do you change it to a different approach of maybe something more aspirational, since there is a lot on the table?
I hope not. I hope it's still just about us. Just you stay consistent. And, they haven't. Look, I think within that mantra is certainly there are goals. You want to win the conference. That's any team in the ACC wants to win the conference. Whether it's realistic or not is always a different question. But I don't think you would change the way that you go about the day-to-day operations just because the expectations are there. I wouldn't I wouldn't ignore them. You and I have talked about that, but I would also, I would stay consistent with what got us to a place where we could have these expectations to begin with.
But don't you think it's interesting that all those players that came through in those interviews talked about championships? Like, that's not coming from the ether, right?
Yeah, I think, a lot of them came because of a 10-win season and all these guys coming back. But again, going back to what the point we brought up a lot, or I brought up a lot, probably too much, is these guys really haven't accomplished anything. Like, I was thinking about watching the North Carolina Duke basketball game Saturday night. It's like that North Carolina team made their run in the NCAA tournament. They weren't great last year, but they got hot at the right time. They beat Duke on Coach K's last game at home, which was incredible.
Hilarious.
Maybe the best moment of the year sports-wise.
Yeah.
And then beat them again in the Final Four, and then got to the championship game, had a big lead and lost it. But they came back number 1 in the country with all this hype and expectations, and they've been flat-ass average. They haven't been good at all, really, by their standards. And you just wonder, can something like that happen to a football team? Because that North Carolina basketball team, actually, they went to a Final Four. They beat Coach K. They might have won the AC tournament. Who can remember? Does Florida State suffer from that a little bit? A football team, can they suffer collectively like they're better than they're not as good as they think they are?
I think definitely possible. It's something to
because that Carolina team clearly wasn't as good as they thought they were.
Yeah, but what happens typically in a situation like that to me is when an integral part of why you went on that run exits the building. So if you were to if Jordan Travis wasn't here and then Florida State Seminoles had just won 10 games and gotten back into the collective conscience of those that cover college football, they might preseason be 15 or 12, but people would conveniently be ignoring at that point because they often do in rankings. Yeah, they lost their starting quarterback, so it may not be the same. We would know it. The locals always do, but nationally, Florida State looks like they're back. I don't think so, guys. They didn't win anything last year. They didn't win anything. They didn't win the Atlantic. They didn't get to the ACC championship game. They certainly didn't win the conference. They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
So to me, they've got to be in some ways even more hungry than they were a year ago.
That's what you hope.
You
right?
got a
That's
glimpse of what's possible when you play well, but you didn't beat anybody great but LSU, and you didn't win anything.
Right.
But I do think you also have to understand that now you've kind of gone from the 100 to the 100 from the standpoint of nobody was expecting anything from nobody circled Florida State on their schedule last year.
Right.
Well, now everybody's going to be scheduling Florida State on the roster. They saw you win 10 games. What I said?
You said scheduling
on your roster. Man, I might be having a stroke.
Let's
here,
lock
guys.
it in. No. Can I lock it in? Yeah, we're live.
You smell that toast, right?
Can't have a stroke while we're live. I can edit out a
smell
stroke.
that toast.
Yeah.
This year it's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Florida State is going to be the team that teams are gunning for. And so because of that, you have to ratchet things up a little bit. Like, you can't just be the same team you were last year and just adding in a few pieces. Like, you've got to get better. And those players that came in have to understand that they're not joining a team that's already arrived. And now just by being here, they're going to have success. Like, the hunger's still got to be there. And I think that does come back to coaching. I'm not saying they shouldn't have that desire, but I do think a coaching staff has to make sure it's there, because you only get one chance at a team like this.
He had a perfect year because they lost games enough to be able to point out what you didn't accomplish and what can happen when you don't play well on the road at NC State, at home to Wake, whatever it might be, right? And at the same time, they had enough success where those kids can garner some confidence. So he kind of had the perfect season where those guys are now, I would think, brimming with confidence and belief in themselves because they finally accomplished something. And then at the same time, he's got enough ammunition to say, well, look, let's be realistic here. Yes, we're a lot better than we were, but we still haven't gotten anywhere close to where we want to go. I mean, ultimately, when you come to Florida State, and if you're planning to be here a long time as a coach, you got to get to where you're playing for championships.
You can kind of equate it really to I know we rolled our eyes when Jimbo did this after the 2012 season, when he kept telling us how important it was to see his players walking around with ACC championship hats and shirts. Like, they really enjoyed it because they beat Georgia Tech. Wasn't a great game. They held on, but they beat Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. And he's like, guys, they won a championship. Now they know what it's like to win a championship. So I think that matters, that they have accomplished something, but also, like that 12 team going into 13, there was still a lot of doubt and still a lot they hadn't accomplished. You know, people kind of poo-pooed their 12-win season because they didn't really beat anybody. And you won the ACC, you beat a really average Georgia Tech team. So they had so much to accomplish still. I think this Florida State team is kind of in that boat. They're not as talented, clearly, as that 2013 team is, but they could still have the same feeling of accomplishment and confidence that came from 2022, but knowing that they're still not going to be ranked number one. There's still nobody really expecting them to win a national championship. They still should have a lot of hunger and a lot of something to prove. And I think they have the capability to beat anybody in the country.
The good news, too, is that a lot of this is about the makeup of the team, right? So your players that are striving for, Jimbo used to talk about, you strive for perfection knowing you can never reach it, but along the way you hit excellence.
He made that up, by the way.
Perfectly. Didn't get it from a book, didn't know that along that. No. So what I would think is that you're in really good hands offensively, because you got a lot of guys who not only got confident, got better, and got a taste of how good they could be offensively. And I think that if you're Jordan Travis, you took a huge step. But if your goal is to play in the NFL as a quarterback, he's got to continue to grow, right? And he is a hard worker. We know that about him. Well, your quarterback's going to set the tone.
Yeah.
So that guy who's pulling the trigger and touches the ball on every play is going to be a hard-ass worker and wanting to get better. Everybody's got to come along for the ride.
Well, and you think about all the guys that chose to come back, and they got, deals to make it happen. Battle's End was a part of the process. But
is there another one now in the market too?
Well, that one's been there before. Mickanope.
Oh, okay.
They have a different agenda. They do more life skills things and things like that. But yeah, there's 3 collectives really at Florida State. But anyway, all those guys chose to come back, and you'd like to think that is the not rallying cry, but that's what they're reminding themselves and their teammates every day in those workouts and at tour duty, and when they're in the summer working by themselves is, what did we come back for? We came back for a reason. We didn't come back here just to hang out in Tallahassee, just to hang out with Ira, Corey, and Jeff
they're not
for another year.
No, they could do that whenever.
Although that is fun.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they may tell each other, like, in addition to the money that we got from Battles In. We do get to hang out another year.
Well, and look, I like to spend time with my kid, but most of December we were here meeting with these kids and Battles In, telling them, yeah, you can hang out with us if you come back. I mean, that meeting with Johnny Wilson
that was
took
part
90
of it.
minutes.
Yeah.
We really had
Johnny's
kind of
needy that way.
Yeah.
You were running late and we were worried.
Right. It's like, this isn't a good precedent to set. Johnny's going to bounce. And Jordan was wondering too.
But he just lit up when you came in the room.
Man, well, the people do. People do.
But no, I mean, don't you think that motivation will be there? Because
I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I worry about it a little bit.
I know you do. I don't. Not offensively. Defensively, man, I want to see this team really grow because I think that's the next step. If they do that, they'll be really good next year. Like maybe go to the college football playoff good.
Well, the thing about the defense isn't, I know the vast majority of people who are active on social media, we can't say this is all fans.
No.
But a lot of the people who are on social media or on our message boards or right into your show are, focused almost entirely on Adam Fuller and the coaching staff and the coaching change. And I just feel like, man, so much of it more is about personnel. And they've changed that personnel. That front four is going to look very different. First of all, Fabian Levitt will be there. We did a thing on the snap counts. Fabian Levitt played like 200 snaps last year. He played like 7 games and averaged 30 snaps in those 7 games.
Yeah, no, he was hardly around.
Robert Cooper had 1 arm. So that wasn't the defensive line anybody expected them to have.
Which is why I'm excited and why I also think they can get a lot better.
Right.
I mean, they have to.
And that changes everything that changes the back 7.
Oh, without question. Yeah, no, and that's, man, every time we have this discussion about the things we want to see, the things we hope to see, what they have to avoid, what the expectations are, what's reasonable, I get more and more excited, and then I remember it's February. And luckily, it's not long before we start getting into spring practice discussions because we're going to want to talk about this team. It's hard to talk about a team for months and months and months and unless there's competition, unless there's something still at stake to be had. And there is. In the spring will be the beginning of that fierce competition that we document on a daily basis, which will be a lot of fun.
And again, I always point out that the cool thing about our job is that when we talk about spring, we are talking about stuff we see.
Right.
We're not taking coaches or players' words for it. We're actually watching it with our own eyes and then basing opinions and off that.
I got Jared Shank coming at me with a shank in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Corey, you take a lot of crap for your Maryland prediction. Does Ira get a pass for his 2018 FSU Clemson prediction? That was
that?
I think I said that Florida State might be able to upset Clemson.
Well, real on this show?
I don't recall that. You?
Yeah,
no, I can't.
Jared does. Jared does.
Well, it seems like you do too.
I felt like there was a
coming out of nowhere.
I felt like there was a scenario. I could see a path.
That was the 59-3.
So here's
10?
If you remember, until Asante Samuel roughed the kicker, Florida State was right in that game.
Right, exactly. And Maryland was only down
too much
7
attention
points.
to this.
Maryland was only down 7 points in the second quarter.
It remained dormant. We need to leave it be.
Thanks, Jared.
There you go. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment. Firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
This
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BearNoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey, everybody, the perfect fireplace makes your house a home. How's your fireplace looking? Not too well? Hearth and Patio can help you with that. Actually, Hearth and Patio can help you with anything fire. Give my friends a call at Hearth and Patio. If you need new fireplace upgrade, fireplace repair, you need custom outdoor kitchen, grills, or an amazing fireplace for your backyard. 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth Patio Tallahassee. They keep the home fires burning.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Just happy to be here.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Ira, tell everybody where they can get those Seminole Headlines shirts again, buddy.
You're just pimping them, huh?
That's what, yeah.
It's
the rollout, baby.
Seminole Headlines Seminole Headlines.myshopify.com.
Seminole Headlines.
.myshopify.com.
There
Rolls
you
off
go.
the tongue. Then we got a gift this week.
Yeah, hold on. They're back there. I'm going to have to wait till the next commercial
All
break.
right, all right.
Yeah.
We got a
No,
little,
they're both awesome.
Yeah, they are.
They pushed the envelope.
Ken the Carver
coming up big time. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll do that after the next into the next segment. I'll grab those suckers. Hold them up to the camera. I was very impressed that he efforted to. It wasn't a platinum Bohica. He came up with the golden Bohica with the 9
for 9 wins. He decided because we had talked about maybe the diamond Bohica.
Oh, buddy,
25.
We got a little ahead of ourselves. Yeah.
Oh,
here we go. Maybe we'll have him here. Here we go.
Matthew's going to make the.
Yeah, he's going to make the move. Okay, let's start with this one, guys. This holds a special place in my heart. 9 wins in a row over Miami. Tell me if you guys
not for the podcast listeners.
Okay.
Just for the YouTube viewers,
all right. There.
We'll be quick about it. Be quick about it.
You can tell. Not too quick. I just want to
you can see
it's an upside down U.
Yeah.
And then there's
I think we know what's going on.
Casually.
Yeah.
Hanging around
yep.
Seminole guy.
That is something. By the way, this is Ken the Carver's new look, which is also awesome.
The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper. It's great. All right, there's that. And, it's pushing the envelope a little bit. And then we have what's the equivalent of the promise. And reading that is good, too. I don't know if you can, Ira. I think I should probably read it.
Yeah, it was the one we got. I think I showed it on one of the Zoom ones we did. But yeah, it's the Roland Sweet sending that message with basically talking about how happy he was with Florida State and all
and
the
then how
coverage.
dismissive Corey was at the bottom.
No,
well, it wasn't dismissive, but he was happy with the program. He was happy with the media coverage. We said we did a really good job.
For those that don't know what Roland said, he said, I find there to be so many positives from this football season. Obviously, the players and coaches and all their hard work. The fans were so solid in attendance and support as well. I really like the media coverage of Warchant.com and the staff. I listen to Jeff Cameron every day, Corey Clark, Ira Schofel, and Tom Lang. I also like the addition of Jeff Colhane as the broadcaster. It's a new day for FSU, and it feels like a new beginning to a very bright future for our program. Keep climbing, Noles. Thank you for a very exciting year. It's been fun to watch. That's from Roland. And underneath it is the Corey Clark quote in response to that very kind
heartfelt
offering.
message.
Corey wrote, "We appreciate it. Trust us, we really do. But also, yeah, we know."
Yeah, that's dismissive is probably not the most accurate.
No, I mean, he said it in a way where it sounds dismissive, but if you go back and listen to the tape.
Oh, yeah, you were almost in tears.
It was,
yeah, I forgot.
That's why I couldn't keep talking.
You had to catch yourself. You were a little choked up in the moment.
Yep.
Anyhow, yeah, that was great. And
so Ken the Carver carved that whole thing, which is incredible.
And we'll have it up in the studio next time you guys are here on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll have those suckers up. We're taking over that whole studio.
And the Golden Bohica, just the timeliness of it, because as of about a week ago, he still was under the assumption.
He didn't even know what it was.
Wasn't sure what the Platinum Bohica was, and then he kind of figured things out, talked it over with his wife, did some research on the internet, and then came up with this and told me, I think he sent me an image of it, I think on Friday. And dude, it was at the house on Monday.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be people that want to order that.
Maybe.
Just saying,
Right,
maybe. There's going to be some people that want to order that. We'll
put it on the.
Ken's like, man, this is a side gig for me. I'm having some fun with it, guys.
Put it in the
you don't need to put me to work. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be out here churning them out.
I bring the dinner out here. I can't leave.
You guys brought it up though. Listen, don't launch into Taylor Swift tour dates. But Florida State has won 7 in a row over Louisville.
Real quick, though. Right. Good work, Matt. Life Spectator said he asked who is Roland Sweet. It was just one of the headliners.
Just a headliner.
Yeah, it was in the
questions. Nice guy who wrote in. Yeah.
Yeah, in the questions portion.
Yeah.
He just had, that wasn't a question. He just wanted to tell us how happy he was with being a Seminole.
It was
A+ on the Golden Bohica, right, Sauer? I agree. That is fantastic work. One more time for those. Hold on. Here you go, guys. If you got to the Warchant TV, there's the Golden, which is really good.
Yeah. Okay. Would have been better if it was platinum, but Ken did what he could.
But alas,
they
yeah, we got 7 in a row now. 7
over Louisville. Yeah, that's right.
Get some Louisville.
Hard times for both the programs.
Who will be the head coach there when they get to 10?
I don't know, but by the way, I never realized. Does anybody know? This is just an aside. Why is Georgia Tech broke? I read the Atlanta Journal-Constitution did a whole article on Georgia Tech athletics being dead ass broke.
So
with no chance to. I mean,
are you still paying Paul Hewitt?
What's
Paul
going
Johnson?
on?
I haven't read that article, but I do know that there was talk in the industry that everybody's favorite athletic director, Dan Radakovich, before he went to Clemson, he was there, and that they were very aggressive. It didn't have results from it, and they were over leveraged.
Yeah, well,
but part of the problem in a school like that is like you can invest all you want, but is it going to be? I mean, Corey lived there; he's spoken to it before. There's not a lot of Georgia Tech fans other than Georgia Tech grads, right?
No, and the basketball team back in the day
were really
was
good.
A big
Bobby
draw.
Crimmins was
and
a
it was
big
a big draw.
Yeah.
But college basketball isn't a big draw anymore.
And football is what pays the bills.
Football is what pays the bills, and they will never ever be close to Georgia in fan attention or ratings or anything like that.
So it's just a cautionary tale of these schools who all want to get in to the upper crust, and you can throw money at it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work.
Fascinates me though, because ultimately, you look at Florida State's situation in this conference and those that would oppose Florida State and Clemson getting out because what would it mean for the ACC? But then there have got to be some other schools that aren't just like Georgia Tech who realize that long-term, they're not going to be able to compete at that level and be part of a super conference. Georgia Tech would probably be fine with saying, yeah, take it on down the road.
You would think, but then do these TV, it's going to be the TV companies it's going to be ESPN that dictates the next.
Yeah, ESPN and Fox.
Yeah. Are they going to
They're not going to want Georgia Tech.
I mean, it's the Atlanta market, right?
Oh,
why did the ACC want Boston and Syracuse? It was all these markets that if they would have just polled the three of us, they're like, nobody cares. Boston College, I get angry just talking about it, just thinking about it. They have added absolutely zero to this conference.
They've been a drain.
Yeah, in any way, shape, or yeah, they have. Like they're taking money out of other people's
pockets.
Well,
that's my point with Georgia Tech being in the plight that they're in. I'm like, if we need to pay the big dogs a little bit more, we can tell some of these other schools to take it on down the road.
Boston
and then
College would be the first one. Like they do nothing. Pitt's close, but at least they're pretty good at football. But Boston College is, even when they're good, nobody cares. Nobody cares there. They add absolutely zero to this conference.
Unless hockey takes off.
Right.
In the
College
collegiate
hockey.
level.
In the college
At the
hockey,
collegiate level.
Yeah, and it's about to. It's about to. I
You
feel
feel
it.
like
It's
you're just
percolating.
hanging in
It's
there,
percolating.
guys. A little bit more time, and their usefulness will
A
become
better
apparent.
chance being good at pickleball. Pickleball will take off before college hockey.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee Police Department is investigating a shooting incident that occurred on Saturday, leaving one man with gunshot wounds to his foot. Officers dispatched the 900 block of Volusia Street at 3:17 a.m. in reference to a shooting. TBD says once officers arrived at the scene, 2 vehicles were located with evidence that a shooting had occurred. The adult male victim was later located at a second location in the 1000 block of Basin Street with 2 gunshot wounds to his foot and was transported to the hospital. No arrests have been made and the investigation remains open and active. A second shooting occurred on Saturday as well that left one teenage male injured. Officers dispatched the 4000 block Weatherby Court around 10:37 p.m. Once officers arrived at the scene, the teenage male victim was located suffering from gunshot wounds to the torso. The victim had arranged to meet the suspect to purchase drugs, but prior to the transaction, there was an argument resulting in the juvenile being shot. No arrests have been made at this time. The investigation remains open and active. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 74. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 54. Tonight, partly cloudy. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. High of 77. Chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. Chance for scattered thunderstorms on Friday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 73.
Nothing says Valentine's Day like flowers and chocolates, but I'm not talking about red roses and heart-shaped boxes. Tallulah CBD has a different kind of flowers and chocolate for your loved one this year. Shop for the newest Delta 8 vape and flower products, plus Delta 8 chocolates for just $3.99. CBD massage oils, CBD bath bombs, a selection of enhancing products to really feel the love this Valentine's Day. Come see the ladies at Tallulah for everything you need to love your Valentine.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think it's enough?
We could talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Real Talk 93.3.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
We did a baseball video yesterday for Warchant TV. You guys can find on warchant.com. And when we got done, we signed off. Always makes me sad when I hit click to get off the StreamYard. I was like, should have chit-chatted a little bit longer with the fellas. That's just me. You guys don't seem to be of the same mindset. Now you're like, screw you, Jeff. Go ahead and click off.
There's and so
we
much
talked after you about. We were probably 20 minutes. We were on there just him and
it
I.
would have been cool. If
would have been
stayed.
nice if I would have been there for the conversation. Yeah, I apologize.
The when we did all the football ones in on Zoom during the pandemic, and we did them for a long time after things had kind of opened up. We still did a lot of Zoom interviews, but man, Derek Satterfield, the SID for football, my man is the quickest trigger because you like.
I don't want anybody saying anything they're not supposed to say.
I don't know. I just feel like you're kind of always wondering, is he going to say anything?
Should you be like, hey, coach, thanks a lot, appreciate that,
chit chat or whatever? And it's like your session's ended.
Yeah,
Derek was quick on the trigger.
Well, I do think that's a byproduct of each minute of the day being spoken for when it comes to Mike. I think that like that is like they're regimented over there.
You'd think they were getting charged by the minute. It was like a meter running a taxi cab.
You go 1 minute beyond, clickety-doo.
The old days with cell phones before we had unlimited plans.
Weird to think about the old days.
Yeah, I only got 4 minutes left. I only got 4 minutes on my plan.
I'm gonna call you tonight at 9 when I get 3 minutes.
That's on 1 minute.
Did you guys have the Nextel beep beep beep?
We were T-Mobile. We were T-Mobile.
I had the Nextel.
Oh, so those are free because they're in the network.
But then I realized how that's not a good idea. Because if you have friends that are like my friends, or if you're like me, and you beep 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 onto somebody and you don't know who they're with, and you're saying the kinds of things we say to each other.
Oh, right.
That can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
right?
somebody sitting in their living room with their 87-year-old grandmother, and it's like, hey, blah, 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 like, whoa, man, I'm sitting here with Grammy. You can't be. So I realized that was probably a bad idea.
Not a good.
It was like when beepers changed to where you could do the voice thing on the beepers, and people, My buddy I
never had a beeper.
I never had a beeper either.
You were in middle school when we were
when you guys were
rolling around with beepers, checking the numbers with the beepers.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 911. I got to call quick.
You got to call quick. Got to call right away. No. So anyhow, we were talking about baseball yesterday in the video, and in what is a proper expectation. And all I know is that when we clicked off, I started perusing the roster again, and I am encouraged. I think they're going to be all right. If they get the pitching going, they're going to be fine.
I thought you made a really good point that we kind of kept it moving. We didn't a lot of times when we do these things, kind of like headlines, somebody will say something and somebody else either agree or disagree.
Right.
That format Tom was keeping it going, man. We
didn't want a 28-minute baseball video,
which is fine. But I thought you made a really good point. I didn't get to say that, but
thank you.
Well, here you go. What's the point?
Well, just about how some of the individual performances might be a lot better because the overall culture and just morale is going to be higher.
The clubhouse is not going to be fractured, and you got guys that are hurting and angry and frustrated. And to me, when you show up at a place to work and you like who you work with and everybody's like-minded and pulling in the same direction, it's a lot easier to go out the business of trying to get better and do your job and be dependable. And I feel like the last several years, that hasn't been the case in that clubhouse. That Florida State, something happened along the way where things kind of went south culturally, and they had a hard time getting it back. And ultimately the head coach suffers for that, and that's why Mike is no longer there. Mike Martin Jr. Don't care to get into the reasons for that. I just want to say that I think that is going to be greatly improved and should improve the overall morale of the program.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times with coaching, and this is one of the things I talked when I was advocating for not making major changes on the football staff, even if you don't love everybody on the staff, is because when it is working, sometimes it's dangerous to play around with it too much. I felt like when Mike Bell left the baseball team, when Mike Bell left as pitching coach to become head coach at Pitt, I thought he was a really nice balance to Mike Martin Jr. because he was a little bit more good cop to Mike Martin Jr.'s bad cop. And I felt like there was a good chemistry there. I'm not criticizing the guys that came after him, but I felt like the chemistry wasn't great at that position in terms of how they worked and how they related to the players, and then how the players related to each other. Kind of to some degree, you brought up basketball earlier. This basketball staff's had a lot of turnover over the last several years.
It's tough. Yeah.
First Gates left and CY left, and really the only coach that's still there with Leonard is Stan Jones. Steve Smith's been there a couple of years. He replaced Gates. He's a good guy. RJ Barsh, the new assistant coach, I think is a good guy, but I don't know if that chemistry that worked so well before is working as well, and maybe that relates to the players. So I think that's a big part of it, is just having the right staff and the right chemistry. And I think that's why it was important to Link to bring those guys with him.
Yeah.
Because they're all very much in line.
It's hard to replicate, even if the guys that replace the guys that leave are good at what they do or knowledgeable, you don't always find that same sort of synergy that you had with a different group. I'd like to believe that if we booted Corey Clark out of Seminole Headlines, like we talked about a few years ago,
right?
That it would still be all right.
It wasn't a serious talk.
No,
we didn't do a vote.
It was just a minor. We were a little frustrated at the time. But it worked. But it worked out.
What would it look like if Corey wasn't
here?
Yeah. Okay. But there
Ira
were
brought it up.
Preliminary discussions.
We'd had a couple drinks.
It didn't go down the road.
No,
not far enough.
Kind of out in the ether there for a second. The next day, I was like, guys, we don't.
Guys, who else was in the meeting?
Well, the guy that might have been your replacement. But we just, it was just
okay.
But the thing of it is, there's not always a guarantee. And we thought better of it for that reason, for all of his annoyances. We realized that there was a lot of pluses.
There's a
thing there.
Bring a dynamic you can't get anywhere else.
Right. And we recognized that. We figured we could get you in line without having to have the talk. And it worked out.
Yep.
Worked out. They couldn't do that at FSU.
I feel like we're having the talk right now.
For whatever reason, though, things did, I think, fall apart communications-wise over at FSU in the baseball offices. And I do feel like it was a problem. And it can't help but be better now. You get it. This is one of the things about change usually that comes into play is everybody's on board early. Now you got to win games or things start to suffer. And somebody said in the chat a moment ago, I think it was Briley, that Link Jarrett's quotes read like he was tempering expectations for this upcoming year. And I'm sure you could look at it that way. He's talking about from the other day when we had the video from what he had to say there. But I think it's a coach still searching to figure out who's what.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Like, how am I going to use this guy? Where does this guy fit? Not real sure about the arms yet. Not like I doubt we can win games. Just more like I'm not entirely certain who fits where just yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's coach speak.
No, I don't either. No, because he was being pretty upfront and honest about the pitching. Like we just don't have a lot of numbers. He's never had a staff. It sounded like he hadn't had a staff with this few arms. So he was talking about scrimmages and how they can't scrimmage a ton because they got to take care of the arms. But what I thought, we got to watch practice. We watched practice for like an hour. And again, I hesitate in doing this only because we didn't watch a lot of baseball practices the last few years, so it's hard to compare. But I don't know that I've seen this before to this level where they're taking batting practice. And, when you're taking batting practice and the kids are practicing their leads and then they'll run to second.
Sure.
And they'll stop at second. They'll wait for the next pitch and then they'll run to third. But they're kind of just going through the motions, just almost getting loose more than anything. Well, in this scenario, when a kid's at second base, they're judging what they do on where the ball is hit. So if the ball is a line drive to center field, but it's kind of high up and hanging up, one of the kids started running to third, and they're like, no, that could be caught. So you're not just going like the ball's hit.
You're
I'm
not
running
just going
to third.
through the motions.
The ball's hit the right field. No, and then they'd go to third. And as this kid's taking batting practice, they're getting leads, ground ball where you're going, fly ball you're tagging. So they're getting a lot done even in batting practice. The other guys are actually working on base running and they're paying attention to it.
Well, good Lord, they need to.
Well, and there's nothing taken for granted. I think that was one of the takeaways we had also is that like Link, not only are they coaching, but like Link is talking to them in everything they do. Like in the other assistant coaches too, and he's got a big staff. He's got a lot of people out there helping him. But Link particularly, you watch him, and there's a mental conversation about just the intellect of playing baseball that is ever present. Like everything they do, there's a discussion about and not stopping to talk, but as they're doing their, but he's explaining like, this is why you underhand toss in this situation. This is why you don't, this is what, this is why you sidearm it. This is in everything from base running to defense to hitting. There's that constant mental approach of why we do things and how we do things that I think is you would like to believe is going to pay off with a smarter brand of baseball.
You get back to details and fundamentals. You establish those things. You have those ingrained, and then you move forward with whatever else. From there, he'll be able to recruit his guys who, I think he has an idea of what he wants a team to look like and the way that he wants them to play. Certainly that rang true at Notre Dame. They were mentally tough. And I think if you're a Florida State fan, what you're most excited about is not just that there's a plan in place, and he's been able to articulate that in his interviews. And obviously he's been successful. He's been at several stops prior to getting here. So he's experienced a lot of different kinds of adversity and overcome those things and had success, small places on to big places like Notre Dame. But you think about how tough they were rolling into Knoxville and how tough they were in handling that environment. If you're Florida State, you just want to see a team that plays smart and is mentally tough and can handle things. They're tougher on the mound. They're tougher in the way they go about their business. You're just hoping like hell that that's what hiring Link Jarrett did. I think that's one of the many reasons he was hired. His teams had a lot of what for to him. It's been a minute, and I'm not calling any of those kids soft. I'm just saying that something fell between the cracks somewhere along the way, and they were having a hard time getting it back. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in just a moment.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Services, conferences to call away.
222-7722. Heating and cooling is the job we do.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a Peak Performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And Peak Performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The Peak Performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. Florida license number CMC 050334.
Parker Services, conferences to call away. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Hey Tallahassee, it's Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. You're probably driving right now, which means you're surrounded by glass. Did you know that each piece is made differently? Your windshield is 2 sheets of glass with a thin plastic in between. This allows it to take an impact without going all the way through. Side and back glasses are typically tempered. This strengthening process is what allows them to be shattered in the event of an emergency. Regardless of the glass or how it breaks, we can help. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass, proudly serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. Better call Seminole.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Hey, one thing I do know, and we'll move on. We got headliner questions coming up here in about 5 minutes. And I don't want to hyper-focus for 2 hours on baseball, but I do know this. I miss the feeling of walking into Dick Howser Stadium when that team's good and when the fans believe in the product and they're excited. We've all been to that ballpark on a consistent basis when it was packed and loud and lively, and they played a fun brand of baseball, and it was interesting, and you watch teams develop and get better and guys find roles, and you anticipated the postseason. What were regionals going to look like, super regionals? Could you be a national top 8 seed? Could you get back to Omaha? Because it's been the unending quest for Florida State to cap it off with the elusive national championship. And I know, just listening to my boy Corey over here, and certainly all of us have had these interactions, it hasn't been fun, man. It hasn't been fun the last number of years. Even when they had some success, it wasn't a lot of fun. I'd really like to see that return because it was unique to Tallahassee in this sense. You know, Florida State baseball is one of the few products at a collegiate level where the city is really, really involved and passionate about a program. Like you go to other schools in the ACC, it's not that way. It's sparsely attended. There aren't a lot of passionate fans. It's one of the things that made Florida State unique. They weren't the only one. We know it's that way at Texas. We know at Mississippi State, they're crazy for baseball, and LSU. You can name those programs. But Florida State was always one of them, and I thought that was so cool. It was the bridge that got us from, when basketball stunk, you had football was really, really good. Basketball, not so much. We were hoping it would get good again. Thankfully, Leonard Hamilton made that happen. But baseball is what carried you through. You locked in on baseball. And because basketball has been good the last several years, it kind of saved us a little bit. While this baseball program was just, you didn't think much about it. I mean, I wanted to. Then we'd get out there, we'd watch the games, and we'd be like, 16 strikeouts, huh? Not a lot of balls being put in play. This isn't fun.
It will be interesting also to see what Link can do with the talent here. You know, like what he did at Notre Dame was really impressive, but the talent pool you can recruit from at Florida State is completely different. And so now the question is, and we kind of, because we did the video yesterday, we just kind of picked up the middle of this conversation about this team, and we went into the intangibles really, but from a tangible standpoint, you know, we feel pretty good, I think, about the offense overall.
Sure.
Optimistic about the offense.
Sure.
We feel like the defense has got a chance to be pretty good. The question is going to be, can enough of those arms develop? How quickly can they develop? There's talent. There's no question there's talent. There's some big arms on that, in that bullpen and on that.
Well, and
staff.
one thing, another thing I noticed at the practice the other day, and this to me is the biggest development, not the development, but the thing I'd like to see the most in 2023 is it looks to me, Jeff, like the video board is going to be the exact same setup. It's going to be
How do you know that? You've not seen them go through a game day operation?
No, that's true.
We're sitting there taking in some practice. Beautiful day.
It was a beautiful day.
And they had the wrong
70
sun
degrees.
Splash,
Oh, man.
70 degrees.
That's what I'm
relaxing,
talking about. Yeah.
Everything's beautiful. We just needed a beer.
Oh yeah.
And then Corey's like, you see the scoreboard?
You can now get those at
The
house.
exact same. You're going to have the batting averages going down the side that you can't read. You're going to have the line score below.
Listen, let's keep trumpeting the problems with that.
A big baseball in the. Oh no, it's the kid's face.
Right.
Whoever's pitching, it's the kid's face taking up the
Well,
whole screen.
Link is a guy who understands the numbers and has, I think, an investment in technology. It seems to me that he would
attention to detail.
Yeah,
That's
he would
his thing.
effort. He would say, guys, what are we doing?
And maybe they just haven't updated the software. They're doing it behind the scenes, and the great unveiling is going to be.
The padding looks beautiful, though.
It does,
the
man.
padding
Yeah, everything in the stuff in the bowels. Speaking of bowels, gang, I tell you what, I've been on some protein bars.
Stop it!
I didn't
stop it.
Sorry,
you're not allowed.
But the bowels
Never.
of the stadium do look. They have the.
Was there standing water?
No,
in the areas.
I mean, there's going to be standing water.
I mean, that's just part of the Hauser experience.
But it just happened to be
Along
sunny
with
that
rust.
day. But they have put up a lot of signage.
They have the All-American signage up. They have the College World Series banners like hanging down in the
In
concourse.
truth, Florida State has got to do a better job of championing their
promoting
successes.
how good.
Yes,
yeah,
man.
all the trophies are inside a place where nobody can see them.
Yeah, I mean, some of that is sad. Like, I've gone to college baseball games on the road, and you're like, oh, look, they've got right there the flag for when they finished third in the Atlantic. You're like, why are they doing that, and we don't have any of our actual, accomplishments up? I mean, Florida State's had a ton of them. Hey, but you know what? That Buster Posey money's coming. I mean, now they're going to go ahead and retire the jersey. That's all he was waiting on. And now the checks are going to come
That's all I
flowing,
needed.
buddy.
And
That's all it is. Let's
Briley
go.
in the chat right here has a great idea, a register sausage race.
Ben.
It's the jalapeno
Boom.
cheddar, the hot link,
The
and
short
I
links.
guess the
Short link,
andouille.
get a little short one.
Oh, yeah, you get a kid. You get a kid to do it. You get a jalapeno cheddar, and you get an andouille.
I had short links last night.
Nice.
I grilled them. Don't often grill the sausage that way. Put them up on the second level while I was doing some other stuff with fish down on the lower level. Just slow cook those bad boys. Slow cook them over time.
Nice.
Tested it out. It was a really well done job by me, and the family enjoyed it immensely.
Everybody appreciated it.
And right now, Register Sausage appreciates it. But yeah, no, it was delicious. Just another way, guys. Just another way. But that idea,
the Register Sausage race,
is awesome.
Yeah.
Because when do you not laugh when you watch?
Oh, it's great.
The
Milwaukee
Pittsburgh,
thing,
the Milwaukee, the Bronx,
the presidents.
Oh, the presidents in
presidents.
D.C. are hilarious.
Preston offered up that it'll be called Beat the Sausage.
Okay.
Ira, you didn't have to read that.
What's wrong with that?
nothing.
It's a race with the sausage. That's what
They're all
fans
racing
can race.
against each other.
Fans can race the sausages.
Yeah, beat the sausage like it's the freeze.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
like,
so the
like
sausage
it's the
starts
freeze.
out ahead of time.
The sausage
Sorry, that's my
goes for
fault.
yeah. What were you thinking?
I don't know.
What was on your mind?
I don't know. It's something weird. Something
So
else.
beat the sausage gets going, and then
Maybe the short link trips them up. There's some like slapstick stuff going on.
I love it. I love this idea.
Ben, you got to get on this.
Well, it's endless promotion, but also the fans would laugh. It would spruce things up at Hauser. It's a little bit of an older audience at Hauser.
Maybe that brings some college kids into the mix.
Well, beer does that, and then I think if they ever get that outfield set up where you can have, like they do at some of these other places, where you have some stands out there where you're allowed to bring in coolers. It's a Friday night at Hauser.
You can start
for
throwing
the college
stuff
kids.
at the right fielder. I'm all about it.
You're going to have
Corey going to ruin it.
You're going to have a party atmosphere in the outfield, a team being successful, playing smart baseball.
We're going to shop back the puddles.
Everything's doing new signage. Everything's looking up, and Corey's going to be staring at the scoreboard.
The video board.
Like,
oh, look.
what
the
are
kid's
we
hitting
doing
286, and look, Connor Whitaker. Look at his form and that big three-story high picture of him.
Headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with. I promise. We'll get there in a moment.
Do you know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Lightning punch in the mouth last night in their first game back from the All-Star break, beaten on the road by Florida 7-1. Panthers were minus 105 of that one. Tampa Bay playing the second night of a back-to-back there at Amalie Arena as a $2.44 favorite over San Jose plus 220, 6.5 flat the total. NBA coming up today. The Pelicans laying 2 at home with the Atlanta Hawks. 234.5 the total. Orlando Magic a 1.5 dog at home to the Knicks. 227 the total there. College basketball in the SEC. Georgia laying 2 at home with Ole Miss. The NFL, Eagles a 1.5 favorite over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Smooth skin begins with hydrating ingredients. Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion nourishes your skin with all-day hydration for deeply moisturized results that give you confidence like buttery soft shoulders like and visibly smooth skin like. Quench your skin with nourishing moisture from Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion. Try Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash too and get skin your face will envy.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When you're at your best, you can do great things. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of yourself. Because when you feel empowered, you're more ready for life's challenges. BetterHelp is a great therapy option. It's flexible, affordable, entirely online, and it matches you with a licensed therapist. Let therapy help empower you. Visit betterhelp.com/energy to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/energy.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, you know, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay.
You know,
mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
You can save hundreds of dollars on your property taxes.
Did you buy a home in Leon County last year? Then you may qualify for homestead exemption. Need to file? It's easy. Visit leonpa.org and click e-file. Mail your application or come by our office on South Calhoun Street. We'll be open extended hours for filing. The deadline to save on your property taxes is March 1st. Visit leonpa.org or call 850-606-6200.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way in just a moment. Great to be with you as always. Say hello to our friends at Birch Orthodontics. Dr. Birch and her staff, the best in the business. I should know. Both my children have gone through, and so have Ira's, and countless others that can attest to their greatness. And so we have no problem endorsing Birch Orthodontics.
And I think what's cool about it from an outsider's perspective, because my son does not go to Birch, is that it's
only,
not like
only because
he lives in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like y'all got huge discounts to go to Birch.
No, I'm still
paying. Because of your status, and people might think, oh, they're just pimping Birch because she pays them to. It's like no. Well, right.
I mean, she is a paid advertiser.
But you guys went there beforehand,
right?
And Jeff goes there now, and y'all aren't getting any
I
discounts.
actually went there without knowing that Ira went there,
right?
Before we never really even talked about it.
Your customers, you go there for real. This isn't just we're going to talk her up, or we're only sending our kids there because she's a sponsor. We're sending our kids there because she's the best in the biz, maybe the best in the world.
It'd be cool if we could gauge it.
I think. Yeah. Well, we can just say it.
That she is. How can you prove me wrong?
Yeah, that's true.
She's
Birch
the
Orthodontics.
best orthodontist in the world.
Yeah, but you
home of the best orthodontist in the world. Birch Orthodontics.
They should have that as a sign in Tallahassee, in the county.
It could be in quotes.
You come in. BirchOrthodontics.com is the website. You can set up a free consultation. They do all the latest techniques. Great people that work there. They do a great job. They'll take care of you, and they have payment plans to make it more affordable. And just great people. Can't say enough good things about them. Good job, Corey.
Thanks,
you
man.
nailed that.
They really don't do a lot of going into counties anymore, or cities where they say home of.
They did have, like in McCullough, they had the Nigel Bradham Super Bowl champion.
Oh, okay.
They did have that.
They made it. Yeah. You remember would you ever drive into Moultrie or Colquitt and it say home of the fastest guitarist in the world? Do you remember that stupid sign? Jimmy Bryant, I think. I mean, I've done it a million times. I think his name's Jimmy Bryant, and he's the fastest guitarist in the world.
You sure about that? Have they tested that?
I mean, it's been there for 30 years, so he might not be anymore.
He may be dead, and he may never have been the fastest.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
it'd be tough to
just right on the Leon County sign. Welcome to Leon County, home of the best orthodontist in the world.
Just think of the kids that grew up in the surrounding areas outside of Moultrie.
Who hear that?
Who would see that sign. And just think,
someday.
one day I'm beaten.
Yeah.
Was his name Jimmy?
I'm making that up probably.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Jimmy Bryant, but it could be anything.
Did Jimmy Bryant play with Slayer?
I don't know.
What did Jimmy
I'm going to look him up. You get to the first question.
know.
I'm looking up Jimmy. I might be wrong.
Mark writes, looking forward to the 23 football season. Which position group do each of you think will exceed expectations? Which position group do you think will meet expectations? And one position group that you're worried will not live up to expectations. All right. So we're going to start with exceed expectations.
You know what? I'm going with the offensive line. I think people think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be a lot better.
Wow. A lot better.
I think it's going to be a lot better.
So we're going to be sitting around watching these games going, man, this group is infinitely superior to the one that manned the front last year.
Only because you think of the success they've had on offense, but how creative they had to be. Like the big argument during the middle of the season was that Mike Norvell was getting too creative, too cute down near the goal line because they felt like they couldn't push people in tight quarters. I think they're going to be able to move people.
Well, buddy, that changes the game quite a bit. Third and short, fourth and short, red zone offense, all that stuff is exciting to hear. I hope you're right. I do think I think you could possibly be correct on this. I like what they've brought in. I like the competition. I also like another year's growth from that group that will enter the competition as well, because they brought in some really good offensive linemen 2 years ago. It's not crazy to think that some of them are on the verge or at least knocking on the door. Corey, exceed expectations. Group that will.
Maybe safeties. There's a chance
Shaheem Brown. Shaheem.
Shaheem could take a leap. Did you say that already?
No.
I was reading about Jimmy Bryant, who does exist or did exist.
He is dead, so I was
he
right
passed
about
away
that.
in 1980.
Oh, we could pour one out for Jimmy.
Yeah, and it doesn't say he's got a pretty substantial Wikipedia page.
1980.
Yeah. He was
dead
big in the
long
50s.
Time.
It didn't say anything about him being the fastest guitarist in the world on
Maybe
his Wikipedia page.
Maybe he got beat.
Well, if he were dead in 1980, it means his heyday of playing
Was
wickedly
50s,
fast was in the
mid-50s.
50s and 60s, and he got surpassed long ago
Yeah.
with the advent of speed metal. There's no chance that Jimmy was still.
Right.
I promise you that didn't happen. That's the end of that.
Might have been what killed him.
I will say tight end. I think they're going to be even better than the high and lofty expectations.
We got high expectations
Buddy.
for him, though.
Oh, I cannot wait. I think Mike Norvell has got to be salivating at this point. He's wanted to have dynamic players at that position. I think he's potentially got two of them. I know he's got one really stable player and another who has a chance to be very, very, very good. And then we'll see if the young kid from Shorter can come in and really live up to that athleticism and that height and all that.
I'm also interested in Brian Courtney at tight end.
Yeah.
I think there's something there. Like this,
he's a nice receiver.
This might be another year of. I mean, he's got to get bigger, clearly. But man, I just think there's something to him there. But he probably won't get a ton of reps.
The ones that will just meet expectations, just meet the expectation.
Running back, I think it's gonna be hard to exceed expectations for them.
Quarterback.
I don't think they'll fall behind.
Quarterback. Because my expectations are high.
I would have gone offensive lines. Ira and I are flipping, but I think the offensive line is going to be good, and I think they'll meet that expectation. And then finally, the position group that we're worried will not live up to the expectation.
I don't answer questions like that. I don't want to be. I don't want to be negative.
We can answer that question.
Kicker.
What? Very, very low bar. Linebacker.
I don't know. I think if the defensive line's a lot better, then the linebackers are going to look better. If I had the
corner.
Yeah, I guess maybe I think there might be a perception that a new position coach is going to make this world of difference. Also, Fentrell Cypress is going to be interesting because his year last year was huge. I mean, he was the PFF grades are off the charts, like 87 grade on PFF. Picked first or second team All ACC. His first 2 years of college were not all that good, like according to the PFF numbers. So he had this one huge year. It was that the outlier, or the first couple of years the outlier. They also. Man, their corners got targeted a ton. I went back and looked at the targets for he and the other corner that was first team All ACC. And they for whatever reason, people just threw the ball a million times agaga Virginia. They got targeted all the time.
Because they didn't have a pass rush.
So they were having to defend forever.
It was tough to do.
So that I think we're expecting him to be an All-American, and maybe he will be, but there's probably a greater chance he's not going to live up to that height.
Are there? I'm gonna group a few questions here. And it's just, folks noticed, as we all did, and we've had the conversation, that when Florida State played decent offenses or quarterbacks with a pulse, they struggled. Is there a concern coming into this season that this defense is not very good and they built the bulk of their numbers against bad teams? Yeah. But do we think they can get better? I mean, that's my answer. Yeah, there's some concern, but they have a chance to get a lot better because of the depth on the defensive line that we're talking about and some of the transfers.
Yeah, and where I disagree a little bit is I do feel like some of that is there's a perception that people are shutting down good offenses, and I don't think that happens. I think they've shut down bad offenses, and that's about all you can ask for. You don't see a lot of teams, in my opinion, shutting down good offenses with really good quarterbacks.
Even like Clemson and people like that. They didn't shut down Florida State. I think, but it's just that you juxtapose what you do to these horrible offenses or average offenses, and then like Jeff said. And the thing that bothered me at the end of the year was the run defense.
Yeah, but that's where I point to the defensive tackle injuries.
Yeah.
Not having Lovett. And
that's where the one concern I have, I think that the frontline defensive line is going to be very good. Can they withstand another season like they had where Verse misses some time? Lovett misses most of the season. One of your other D tackles is playing with one arm. Like, can these other guys step up? Can Farmer become somebody? Like, really become somebody?
I think the depth on the defensive line gives them a chance to take a huge step forward. I do think you can be better than they were, even against good offenses. You won't shut them down, but you can be better than you were. I believe that wholeheartedly. There are some examples where teams did a better job against good offenses than this Florida State defense did. And I think that they can take the next step forward. That's why I'm not as concerned. To answer the question, am I concerned? Well, I was concerned last year, and I talked about it. It made me a little uneasy that when they faced even a halfway decent quarterback, they didn't get stops. But I think they have a better chance to get stops, to Ira's point, because that defensive line is going to be deeper and guys will be fresher longer, and they can go all out for a longer because they're not going to have to play as many snaps. And you get Verse back.
Yeah.
And you got an emerging, rush in on the other side. So I'm excited about it.
Well, the way you look at it this season, the defensive tackle, Daryl Jackson, we think probably, let's just say he doesn't start. It's Fisk and Lovett as your two starters. Well, Daryl Jackson would have been your best defensive tackle for the month of November last year.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And now he's number 3. That's a pretty good uptick in talent.
One thing I would say is just thinking about this and just thinking about getting through healthy. That first month, the biggest concern I think you're going to have is you have that LSU game and that Clemson game. Can you get through that first month healthy? Do those games deplete you in some of those positions to where now you're more vulnerable against those teams right now that we think they're going to roll through?
Yeah.
So that's something to watch out for.
Jordan wanted to know whether or not we thought it was the on-the-field coaching or the off-the-field stuff that led to Meat's departure and the change of the coaching position in baseball. I like both.
It was all intertwined, right?
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about earlier.
It's all fun. Donnie writes, with the last few years of tight ends, how excited are you to see Bell in the room? This is not a takeaway from Biscuit, but come on, man. We got an instant impact here. By the way, I love Biscuit. I think he's going to play great, and he'll play a vital role. I think he's one of the 3 important pieces to that tight end room. But yes, Jaheim Bell is a very, very exciting player.
But they think Mark Easton's they think he's a pro. Like they think he's an NFL guy. Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. So you may have a couple of NFL guys in that group.
Well,
maybe 3.
He's a huge dude, and he offers up with something a little bit different than what they're going to bring to the table with their athleticism and speed. So I like that you have a mixture there. I think the depth of talent at tight end, that's why I'm so excited, has really radically shifted in the last year.
It's to the point now where even if Bowers from Georgia wanted to transfer to Florida State, I'd be like, no thanks.
I mean, he'd have to prove himself.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly
they put him through a workout.
Soft SEC.
Let's see what you got there, pal.
Yeah.
Why don't you run a 40?
You can try out for us.
I'm not real sure. You box jump? You doing those box jumps? Richie writes, does next year feel like it's going to end up like the second years of Charlie Ward and Jameis Winston?
Oh, which both, the second year of Jameis, is that 14 or 13? I guess it technically his second year.
Technically, it was 13. That was a national
But then
championship
Charlie's
season.
second year was 90.
Yeah.
It's tough. Second year starting for both.
Probably
I think
second year starting is the question.
So
Yeah.
both, one went 11-1, the other one went 12-0 in the regular season. Charlie was surrounded by so much talent, and then Jameis probably, honestly, had more talent than Charlie did. We
Yes,
didn't know it at the time,
Yeah,
but he was just loaded with NFL guys all around him. Jordan Travis isn't that, but they are good enough to win every game. They're good enough to win every game.
Yeah, I'm not saying they will, but they're good enough. Yeah,
Nobody does
fine. Yeah.
anymore, but they are good enough to win every game.
Scott writes, what offseason change are you most excited to see play out and why? Is it Bell? Is it Surtain? Is it Fisk? Don't forget about Wright coming back as well. Also, sorry if I had attitude on my strike while the iron is hot explanation. My bad. No, Scott, we didn't.
It was just funny.
So what offseason change are we most excited about? Oh, wow. I mean, for me, it's hard to pick one of those. Yeah. I mean, I was really excited about Surtain, and I am excited. But on the field, and Bell is going to
You're all fired up.
See, you're fired up about him, but like they had a great offense without a dynamic.
Well, but
end.
just think, I mean,
Yeah, but a lot of those plays that would have gone, went for 15 or 20 yards might go for 50.
Granted, but they were still scoring on those drives anyway.
Right.
My point being that the defensive line, when they were bad, they just got run over. So Fisk and Jackson adding to that middle of that line, that's a different.
That's why it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to pick. We can get excited about all these things.
Yeah, you might have me there.
Hey, gentlemen, what is the definition of breaking ground? That's from Nick. Basically, how is that football facility project going? Any foundations being set? Concrete being poured yet?
Are they still out there with the shovels?
Yeah, I haven't heard peep about it lately. Thanks for all that you do. That's from Nick. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, we'll try to get an update. I think what they talked about was kind of a ceremonial groundbreaking, which I think a lot of people got the impression at the time. We try to kind of let people know that. They are doing some of the preliminary work. I think they're about to start doing the major construction stuff. I don't think it's started yet. We'll try to get an update for you on the website, and we'll share it on here as well when that's going to happen. But yeah, the groundbreaking ceremony was more of a, hey, we want to let people know we're really doing this. So that's what they did.
If anybody's on Pensacola right now, they could live chat us and tell us that they
send a
see
video. You see somebody out there working,
with a
getting after it.
hammer or something.
I like Rob's question here. Can Tanaya Latson transfer to the men's team?
And bring the ball with her.
Well, he just wrote, she's already getting reps with the ball.
How about that?
Would it burn her one-time transfer in the portal when she starts? Whose minutes would she take?
Look, man.
Here's the thing.
She's lightning. She's lightning.
Tanaya
fast.
Latson's awesome,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah.
But the Duke women's basketball coach thing, even if the ball was
Right,
a
why
men's
go
ball,
public with that?
after you got your butt kicked?
Well,
and then 4 days later, it's like
I
if
like the
somebody
way the
teach
AP
you-
framed it, though. The AP framed the story as Duke coach criticizes Florida State for her team having to play with as if Duke was the only team that was playing with the ball when Florida State had the ball.
She did explain later in her, I would.
But it's ludicrous because even if it was true, and it apparently was not true, because there's a preponderance of evidence, the fact that you could have stopped at any point and said something.
Look at
there's
this
2
ball.
quarters. We've talked about this
I
recently.
agree.
The
Yeah,
women's basketball is 2
quarters, yeah.
quarters. You could have stopped a billion times and said something about it. So, but even if it was true, once you lose,
you just wear it.
You just wear it.
Behind the scenes, you can bitch. I'd
Right.
say what was going on here.
I think
her initial point was this would never happen in a men's game.
Yeah, I don't
She's
think it was,
right about that.
yes.
But the point is,
But
you
it
can
may
make
not
that
have
correct.
happened in the women's game.
It may not have happened. Also, I dare say, we've all played sports.
Yeah.
Okay, look, man, if we're playing soccer and there's a ball that's smaller than the size we're supposed to be playing with, I know it as soon as we start playing. I'm looking at the ball. If it's a ball that let's not be nasty. If it's a ball you feel, if it's a ball you touch, okay?
Right.
Bottom line is, the second you catch it in warm-ups, this ain't right.
Yeah.
You just do. You grew up playing the damn game. You know what the ball, I will say plural, feels like, all right? So I don't know how nobody else, none of the girls.
10 people touching it.
And the referees inspect it.
Jeff,
Literally,
you don't be.
before a game, any game, the referees literally, they all grab the ball, they bounce it, they look, that's part of their job.
Wouldn't Tanaya
Yes,
notice? She'd be
it's
like, hey, this ball
ridiculous.
is wrong.
And the Florida State players would be like, I don't want to play with. Can we get the one we play with? Like, you know what I mean?
And
Like
I think-
they didn't
it's like-
have an advantage.
And I think Duke's players, they shot the same percentage, I think, in the second quarter as they did in the third quarter when the ball changed. The whole thing's ludicrous. But again, I just can't believe you would do that after you lost. I mean, you just can't do it.
I think the time to do she's not wrong about if it did happen, she's right. It would never happen in a men's game. But you can gripe about that off the court. You can do that after the game. You can do that you don't have to do it at a press conference following another game.
Can I offer a counter to that, though?
Sure.
If she does it at the press conference after the Florida State game, it looks like sour grapes, and this is why we
And
lost.
it didn't on Thursday?
No, because she was making a comment about the women's game.
Well,
and how the women's game and the men's game. No, I'm not saying it didn't. I'm saying that was her thought.
Yes, that is her thought.
It doesn't look like this
But
is why we lost.
BS. It's a BS thing anyway because
Sure, man. I'm not Kara Lawson. Don't
you're
yell
trying
at me.
to defend her.
No, I'm saying that was probably her thinking was I don't want to do it immediately after the game because it makes it look like I'm being.
Well, here's one thing I do
There's
know.
a lot of things you could say that the women's sports are not treated as well as the men's sports.
We just saw last year the NCAA tournament.
The NCAA
Yeah, when
tournament,
they're
but
like, hey, here's a dumbbell.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things you can point
Here's
to.
a jump rope, get to skipping.
But this ain't it. They do have referees. They do have staff. I mean, it's just BS. It's
Well, I can tell you this. If you're going to assert such a thing, you better be damn sure you can prove it.
And how about this, gang? And you've heard this rant. Why don't we just have the same balls for men and women? What in the world are they doing with a 1 ounce slider ball? What is it, 1960s? Their poor, dainty arms can't hoist the ball upwards to the air. I mean, they're strong athletes, man.
Yeah,
it's
man,
2023.
but hand size is important.
Hand size is important.
Man, I got smaller hands than any woman in America.
Well, then tough luck.
Yeah,
well, I know, but I still get that men's ball
But
up there.
You're not trying to say what you're trying to say.
Oh, yeah, he is.
No, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You don't believe that. Don't even
Oh,
go
I think
there.
he does.
Oh, I
believe
do. Absolutely. It's the same thing with soccer balls.
But it's different soccer. You said that on Wake Up, but soccer,
okay.
you're not
We're not going to
grasping
do
a
this
soccer
right here,
ball.
right now. Let's go on with these questions or else we'll never get through them. Tom writes, after seeing the growth of Jordan Travis in the FSU football program, was Kenny Dillingham right about the bamboo?
You know, he doesn't get enough credit about the bamboo. The bamboo sprouted like Vietnam this past year. It was nuts.
We thought it was going to be years, though. He said 6 years. For
Yeah.
this crowd.
So the answer is no. He was not right.
No, he was right. Here's the thing, and that's what, when he did the bamboo speech, like several people I talked to later were all like, "Oh yeah, like that is in leadership classes, and I mean
really?
it is a very something that's used a lot because
Referenced frequently.
that analogy.
Oh, that wasn't his own?
No, he didn't.
Unlike you, he can't come up with something as cool as iron sharpens iron.
I know, man. Good grief.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
There's fun to be night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved with community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number one priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. In Florida, we have hurricanes, and we can predict these storms just like we can predict your health. The early warning signs of a bad health storm include neck pain, back pains, headaches. Before it turns into a catastrophic Cat 5, get in to let us get to the cause of your problem at Finn Chiropractic. Go to finnchiro.com for our online special at FENNCHIRO.com. That's Finn Chiropractic, FENNCHIRO.com, because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing says Valentine's Day like flowers and chocolates, but I'm not talking about red roses and heart-shaped boxes. Tallulah CBD has a different kind of flowers and chocolate for your loved one this year. Shop for the newest Delta 8 vape and flower products, plus Delta 8 chocolates for just $3.99. CBD massage oils, CBD bath bombs, a selection of enhancing products to really feel the love this Valentine's Day. Come see the ladies at Tallulah for everything you need to love your Valentine.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on, switch on over to some Facebook questions. I was exclusively Twitter.
I was liking it. I'm not
you
sure why
you
we're
were monitoring. Were you monitoring that? Seeing opening day for Lincoln the Boys at the Olive Garden is almost here. Who do you think will have a breakout season, and who will be the newcomer? Hey, now on the team. Breakout season, guys. Tibbs. They're gonna fix Tibbs. He'll be great. He'll be consistent. He'll be done.
Last year.
Yeah, I know. He's gonna be even better. His swing is the sweetest.
Yeah.
The newcomer's Cam Smith.
Cam Smith, that guy. They ain't built. There aren't many that have come through this program that are built like that dude.
The way Corey looks at Norvell, that's how the rest of us are going to be looking at Cam Smith. Excuse me, the way Stephanie looks.
The way Stephanie,
That's
guys.
right. I got to caught myself.
Really?
I
I was like, what in the
I just
world?
caught myself.
I didn't know you were
It's gonna
ogling
be-
Mike.
It's going to be
You want
one
me
of
to
these
talk to him
things
for you
where all of a
tomorrow?
sudden I'm in love with Norvell and not my girlfriend.
Let's see here. Joel writes, hey, guys, I know our football team has a good chance of doing very well. I'm just worried about a letdown. What would be our expectations? Anything short of an ACC championship is a failure? Thanks for all you do. Yeah, what is considered a failure and a success next year? That is a good question, just given that there are lofty expectations as we sit here in February. There's no doubt.
You guys talked about this on Wake Up.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think it'd be a failure necessarily if you didn't win the ACC.
Depends on what that record is when you win or lose the ACC.
You need to be in the game.
Yeah, it would be a disappointment. Failure, I think, is too strong though. What if you go 10-2 and you lose to Clemson and on the road at Pitt or something? But you win everything else. I wouldn't call that season a failure, but it would be a disappointment considering what you had coming back for sure. Failure to me is
would be
6-6, 5-7.
Well,
that's a failure.
If they're 7-5 with this group, with all that they have coming back,
Sure.
man, that's a failure.
Yeah.
That's a failure. So I guess the lowest we would go and not call it a failure is 8-4, and even then that
little
feel
dicey.
like Ira and I might call that a failure.
Yeah, I don't think I like I said on the show, the Wake Up Warchant is like, man, if this team ends up winning 8 or 9 games, it will feel not great in the moment, but I think I am forever changed.
I think you were scarred,
by
man.
17
He is
to
totally
20,
scarred.
17 to 21 changed me.
I think a lot of fans are, but this is what I would say about that though, and this is because Aslan and I talked about it last night a little bit on the Smash because he brought it over from their conversation because it is a good topic. I think the thing though, the way I look at it though, and it's kind of what we looked at last year with the schedule last year. If you got going into this year, you feel like there's 6 or 7, maybe 7 games that are pretty much no doubt wins.
Yes.
So to only win 8 games,
You would lose every
1-5 in all the other games, or 2-4 in all the other games. That would suck.
Oh, it would be bad
because you wouldn't have wins over any really good team.
But then, yes, but we're saying that in February. Like what we thought the 2022 season would be was going to be turned out. I mean, Miami we thought that was probably a loss, and they turned out to be not good at all.
Right.
So we don't know what Pitt is. We don't know what Virginia Tech somehow if they're good or something.
No, they're not going to be.
They're
good.
not going to be good. But you know what I mean? Like it's easy to say in February, but yes, as we stand here in February,
Well, and you also always got to factor in
injury
who
luck
was healthy
yeah.
and everything else.
But if you lose 6 games,
that's a failure.
That's
if
a
you
bad
lose,
season.
If you lose 5 games, that's a bad season.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it
But
done.
if you get to 9 wins, if that includes a bowl, I just of the opinion, me personally, will be like, you know what? I cover a program that won 19 games in 2 years.
No,
considering the depths of hell,
but
I had to
how
crawl
long are you
out
going to
from
let that be
the rest of my life?
No, you can't.
You
can't. This is why we had this argument years ago with the Jimbo situation.
I'm forever changed. I'm forever changed after 17 to 21. Forever. Jacksonville State.
Oh my!
There's a part of me that's never coming back.
In 2028, you're gonna be like, "Hey, Les, settle down with these expectations. Do you not remember Jacksonville State?
Yeah, it's gonna be like the Alamo. It's gonna be the Alamo. I will never forget it.
As far as success goes, I think getting to the championship game, I'd feel like okay, they had a successful season. It could have been better.
The national championship game,
the ACC championship game. I feel like if you get to the ACC championship game it would be obviously a whole lot better to win it.
Yeah. Playing in that game,
if you lose to Clemson in that game, it's not the end of the world.
Corey's going to be the grandfather that reminds everybody how lucky we are to have this Thanksgiving dinner because he grew up in the Depression.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Every time.
Let me tell you something. You can't take for granted that you're eating
Understand. I
cranberry
want you
sauce.
guys to know there were 6 seconds left.
78 years ago, I could barely eat.
Yeah, there's 6 seconds left. They're at midfield.
Yeah.
They have a freshman kicker that's never kicked a varsity field goal, and we're in normal 4-3, 2 deep defense, and everybody stops running. There was a kid named Jarvis Brownlee.
Oh my goodness!
Those would be the stories I would tell.
Which off-season dumpster fire is currently larger, Coral Gables or Gainesville?
Coral Gables.
Coral Gables.
Yeah, losing the DC after a year, and then firing the OC after a year.
They were championing both of those guys last offseason as miracle hires. Look what he's doing here. I actually hate that both those guys are no longer employed.
100%.
Those were great. I mean, those were great hires to guarantee failure for the next 5 years.
Kevin Steele just out here. I mean,
sorry as hell, steady falling his way up the ladder.
But don't you feel like
well, he falls back down too, though. That's the beauty about him.
But then gets
He's
another
like
chance
Donkey
over and over.
Kong.
Saban hiring Steele as defensive coordinator is pretty much identical to Jimbo hiring Petrino as offensive coordinator. Like, hey man,
You'll come do what I tell you to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any. You're not bringing any new ideas.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do what I tell you to do.
Pipe down over there. Caleb writes, who is our quarterback in 2024?
Very good question.
That's a great question.
That's a Facebook question.
That is a Facebook question.
So succinct and to the point. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm Tate Rodemaker.
If the offensive line's what it looks like,
Are
it
we
could
going to
be,
do that thing again where I take Tate, you take Brock Glenn, and Ira takes whoever the
Duffy
transfer
or
is?
Crum and Hoke?
I want to be Crum.
And Hoke. You want to be?
I want to be him.
All right.
I'm not saying by
I'll be
2024.
Duffy.
I feel pretty good.
Hey, I took Clint. I'm not afraid to take Duffy.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll take chances.
Oh, man.
What did y'all say? Y'all didn't get an answer.
I'll say Tate.
Oh, I think it's Tate as well.
Okay. All right.
Rick,
Tate.
hey,
Oh, and by the way, I was totally wrong. You didn't say he was a bust. You said he's a miss.
Oh, you went back
Which
and
makes-
listened?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
I like
clarifying.
that Ira went back there
Yeah.
to listen.
Because I thought about it later, I was like, bust is a weird word.
For a 3-star.
Right. It was
Yeah.
it was a miss.
You just said he sucks and he was a miss.
Right.
But he never said
I
he
mean,
was a
but who
bust.
remembers old stuff like that? Nobody goes back and listens to this stuff.
Let me tell you about my Clemson FSU take in 2018.
Oh.
Wow.
Guys, they don't have a shot today. This could be hideous. We could lose like by 40. I'm just letting you all know it could be ugly. That was Ira's take about the 2018 Clemson game.
No,
Not
it wasn't.
quite.
He was,
No,
that
that
was
was definitely the day. That was
they're going to be
the
down
one.
59. They're going to be throwing fades to Dabo's kid in the end zone.
Oh, that makes me want to puke.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm never going to take for granted a 9-win season.
No, yes, you will. You will.
I probably
and you
will.
should.
You're right.
You will and you should.
I know you're probably right. I got disappointed this year when the Braves lost. I thought once they won a World Series, I'm good. For
These
the next
bums
10
are
years.
back to sucking in the
Yeah,
postseason.
here we go.
That
Here's
was
Braves.
Corey.
Braves in October.
I'm going to see Pirates Braves in spring training, buddy, coming up. I bought tickets yesterday.
Oh, nice, buddy.
Behind home plate.
By the way, I've told Ira
Yeah,
this.
are the
I've got
Pirates
Braves
coming?
season tickets this year with some buddies.
Let's go.
So I got a Pirates game on a Sunday, and I've got an Orioles game on a Sunday.
Oh, we're in.
But I mean, it's not the same game, obviously, because
No, I know.
they're different teams. But yeah, so if y'all want to use my Pirates tickets or Orioles tickets, they're there
Make
for
it
you.
happen. I'll trade you a few
There's-
headlines T-shirts for.
Oh,
the,
nice.
At what
nice.
juncture of the season is it? I'm worried that you will have changed your mind because the Pirates will be residing somewhere near first, and you're going to be like, well, I can't give up these tickets now.
Feel like it's in August. I know Baltimore's in May. I think Pittsburgh's in August.
By the way, recently the Orioles
Minor league system.
see
I
that?
read the
Did you
article
see that?
yesterday. I almost
Yeah.
texted you.
Man,
I like how locked in this guy is.
He
He's
is.
quietly
Finally-
locked back
finally
in.
a baseball fan.
gave me
did
a
you-
reason to hope.
Did you? I would like one too. I don't have any, but do you? Other than I love the sport, do you read all these things now every day?
Yeah.
Me too. I read a bunch about the Orioles yesterday. I was like, look at my man
Dude,
Ira.
that's the thing. That team last year, they did a nice job of getting some pieces, but there were a lot of homegrown. I mean, they got some talent. They've done a good job with that farm
They got
system.
some guys. Rick writes, hey, fellas, just a small meander off the FSU schedule. How can anyone possibly find more than 4 losses on Miami's schedule? At 8-4, any recruit with more than 3 years is just chasing NIL bags to only go 8-4 at best again. Is Crystal
Ball?
Tiny Ball? Oh, Tiny, sorry.
Come on,
It's weak.
Jeff.
Capable of 6-6. 6-6.
No,
Do they have a
it's gonna
tough
be
schedule?
Well,
I think they do have some games that they have no.
Well,
chance.
I mean,
they got A&M coming
listen,
to
man, they got beat. They got
Drop.
housed at home by Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah,
They
I
got a
guess
tough
everything's
schedule.
tough.
Miami football schedule. Let's pull it up. Here we go.
But this thing with the coordinators is a big deal, man, because they're
Yeah.
going to be putting in new offenses and new defenses.
Yeah, Van Dyke again.
Third year in a row.
Who was the coordinator where did Lashley go?
He's got a head coach.
He got a head coach, so he can't come back.
Yeah, didn't he end up though at first?
But I thought Van Dyke would have gone with him.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. By the way, if you're wondering, they play their spring game on Friday, the April the 14th.
Yeah, and Florida plays the Thursday, the 13th, and Florida State plays Saturday, the 15th. That's
We
kind
get
of
the
weird,
prime
right?
spot. Then.
It's just odd that it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So 2023 football schedule for the U, Miami of Ohio. That's a win. I'd like to believe it is at Hard Rock. Sometimes you never know. They travel to play like Appalachian State and stuff like that. So they take the money. Texas A&M week 2 should be a war.
That's a loss.
That's probably a loss. Bethune-Cookman, so that's another win. They're at 2. At Temple should be a win. That's 3.
a toughie, though.
Home to Georgia Tech, that's a win. That's 4 wins. At North Carolina, loss. Clemson at home, loss. Virginia at the Hard Rock. Coin flip game, guys.
Yep.
Let's
Let's give them that win. Virginia lost Cyprus, so 5-3.
At NC State,
5-4.
That's a loss. At Florida State,
Probably
resounding
a
loss.
5-5.
Home to Louisville.
Could be a loss. That's another coin flipper. Yep.
Tweener,
We'll say they lost.
Well,
that
they'll get
game.
out coached there.
5-6.
And then they're going to save themselves and get to a bowl at BC late November. A little chilly.
And they might have given up.
They may have rolled
So, yeah,
over.
it could be 6 wins.
6-6.
Got a shot. Got a shot for 6-6.
They do have a spot on the bottom of their schedule, is just in case, for the ACC championship game. They want you to know that that's a possibility.
It's happened. It's about a 3% chance, right? If we go by
they've been
how
once.
many, they've been once in
They've been
22 years.
Time,
Call
guys.
it right now. Does Cristobal succeed there or not?
One time.
No. And look, man, I think he's a good coach, but who was the last coach that didn't get fired at Miami?
I'm not sure.
Butch
he's a good
Davis
coach.
was 20-something years ago. 23 years ago was Butch Davis. Every single coach since then has been fired, usually within 3 or 4 years. It's just how it works down there.
Glorious to watch. Ryan writes, fellas, who's one player throughout time that if they transferred to FSU, you would have a hard time cheering for them, even in the howled garnet and gold? I'm going with Jeremy Shockey.
Oh, that's a good one. Is that him or you?
That's him. But I agree with
that's a
that. Well,
or the soldier.
I was going to say the soldier's number one on the list because he and his dad suck.
Yeah, I didn't like his dad either.
Well, his
that
dad's
didn't
a piece
help.
of garbage.
Yeah, his dad.
Yes.
Both. Yeah, weird. The Miami tight ends, huh?
Mm.
There's got to be
I like
somebody
Olsen.
better, though.
I love Olsen, who was a tight end at Miami. Did a good.
Yeah.
It's doing a good job. In
What
the
about
league.
Aaron Hernandez?
No, he's dead.
No, I mean, I'm saying.
It transferred in before he was dead.
We didn't know he was a serial killer at that point.
I mean, I guess, yeah, those stories weren't out then, were they?
What about how would you have handled Tebow? How would you have handled
that? Man, that's a 2-hour show.
That's a long.
We got to go to a break.
I don't have the time. I also don't want to.
But there's plenty of players that you would have no problem. Like,
sure,
like Emmett,
Andre Johnson. I loved Andre Johnson.
Johnson was
he was
fun.
a great guy, good player. Got no problem with Andre Johnson.
Michael Irvin.
I'm trying to think of I guess we're just sticking to football because I was trying to think of some Duke basketball players that I just I don't know that I don't want to talk to this kid. But I none of them are coming to
JJ Redick.
Yeah, but now I like JJ. I like his podcast.
Yeah, his
now.
podcast
He's a really
is good. He's
insightful
actually
guy.
become good. Hey, by the way, so the rest of this question's great, and it did make me laugh. He says Jeremy Shockey. That's a good pick.
That's
a very good pick.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, I heard this question on a national podcast, and there were a lot of Danny Cannell's responses the other way.
Oh, but yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
but
and that's his post-playing.
That's his persona
post-playing.
now.
Nobody
cared about. He was pretty vanilla back when he was here.
Who brought up the TCU pitcher?
That kid
with the hat.
Yeah.
It might have been It might have been Chris Nee's wife.
Drew Perk, is that his name? The kid that was the number one pick.
Well
first
done,
round
by the
pick?
way.
I think
that kid was
then he came back to school like
and
a
lost a
dumbass
ton of
and
money.
lost a ton of money and hurt his arm.
Yeah.
He might
We were
be
all
wrong.
heartbroken about that. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
McCullough County Sheriff's Office is investigating 2 homicides that occurred on Saturday in a Crawfordville neighborhood. WCSO received a call around 3:30 p.m. regarding a possible suicide individual located at a Crawfordville home on Carousel Circle. Once deputies arrived, 2 deceased individuals were located in the driveway area of the home. An investigation is underway, and anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to contact the McCullough County Sheriff's Office at 850-745-7100. Career Source Capital Region is set to host Prep for Vets, a networking event for veterans who are looking to enter the workforce. The free event will allow veterans to network with one another, meet with recruiters and veteran-friendly employers, prepare their resume, and brush up on their interviewing skills. The event is set to take place on February 16th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Career Source Capital Region Leon Career Center and is limited to the first 25 veterans who register. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 74. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 54. Tonight, partly cloudy. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. High of 77. Chance for scattered rain showers Thursday. Chance for scattered thunderstorms on Friday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg.
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
It's a new year, a new you. So give yourself a fresh start with MyBookie. Whether you bet to earn or to make the games more exciting, MyBookie gives you the most for your money with their redesigned deposit bonus. Just use promo code WARCHANT on a deposit of $50 or more to receive a cash bonus instantly to your MyBookie account. Using the bonus is simple. Bet your deposit amount just one time and you're ready to cash out. It's no strings attached with MyBookie. Bet on the NFL, UFC, or play for a share of big cash prizes in the weekly online blackjack tournaments. So many brands to choose from. You need a platform that makes it simple to bet and win like MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
I think you can also bet if Rihanna is going to show cleavage in her first song on the halftime show.
I'm going to guess yes.
No, I know she will at some point, but the first song?
How do you define cleavage?
Well, I mean,
I know when I see it.
Yeah, it's right. It's like pornography.
Yeah, so you can bet on a lot of weird things.
You can.
Including
the over-under of the national anthem is like 204, but it's Stapleton singing it. I feel like he'd be a little slower. I mean, he'd be a little
longer than 204.
I don't think he's going to hold that last note that long. So I think he might come in at like 201 or something.
So be listening on Friday. Lee Sterling's daughter performs national anthems all around the country. She performed it in the Orange Bowl. She's done it at NFL games. So he joins me to do prop betting every week. And he said his daughter is very aware of what the singers do and how, and she's won 9 in a row.
Nice.
She's picked 9 in a row.
Okay.
So he'll have information on Friday about what her guess is when it comes to Stapleton singing the national anthem.
Yeah. All right.
You should have her on the show instead of him.
I don't know if she knows the thing about betting other than the length of how long
just
people
talk
sing
about that for the whole time.
National anthems.
That's money's money, man.
Yeah, that's true. Next question. Hey, fellas, it's Super Bowl week, and there are a lot of former Noles in the big game. Curious, which current Nole in the NFL would you like to see win a Super Bowl at some point? Mine is Dalvin Cook. Well, Dalvin's really good, and that's not a bad pick.
Yeah, I'm personally going to go with Derwin. I just feel like Derwin's had a rough shake. You know, like his time here was not, and that guy, nobody reps Florida State like Derwin James does.
You're right. You're right about that.
Loves the
I'd
Noles.
like to see him get one.
He does. Dalvin is a really good player. It would be nice to see him. I'm really happy that Nottie has won one and could win his second. Yeah.
Been to 3 Super Bowls.
I'm excited
in 5
that
years.
Josh Sweat has a chance to win one because that guy has gone on to have a really good career, and it was not a great situation when he was here. So,
I think Dalvin and Derwin are the 2 right answers. Some people might. Well, Jalen won one last year, but I think Dalvin and Derwin would be That would be cool for both of them.
I like Asante too. Asante's seems like a cool kid.
But the Chargers are always going to charge her. I mean, that's
yeah,
crazy what
they should have already fired their coach, and they didn't. Sean writes, Jeff, when's your Coach Jarrett interview? Any chance you can ask him to do some of those during the season? I can ask him, and we do plan. We've already put the request in. I think I'm supposed to talk to him next week.
Coach who?
Link Jarrett.
Oh, Coach Jarrett.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Gentlemen, I'm here to watch Colton Vincent swing the metal stick or chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. My question is, besides Holbrook being out, what position are you most concerned about on the diamond going into the year? And he wrote all of diamond.
What a specific question for baseball. Look, catcher was not a good spot last year.
You think? They got 9 bodies at the problem this year, including a transfer. So
and the transfer is a very good hitter.
How long is the transfer out? Can we get to that?
Don't know.
I want answers, Link.
He said he'd be back.
Well, hell, in the postseason or at some point during the year in the regular season.
But yeah, I would say to me it's still catcher because it wasn't like you were great there defensively.
Well, that was the
and
thing.
You hit 180.
And me would act like he was.
No, and he wasn't.
And it's like, no, man,
that was actually really frustrating.
Like he's not. It would be one thing if he couldn't hit it all.
If he was an elite defender, you'd be like,
not.
well, you're just a great receiver of the baseball.
Like, remember Danny De La Calle?
Oh, yeah.
He was a good defensive catcher.
Danny of the street.
Yeah, Danny of the street. But didn't hit all that well when he was here.
Which you can live with if your ace is behind the plate, man, and you're throwing people out, you frame a good game. So it's a foregone conclusion that this is Jordan Travis last year. He made tremendous improvements over time in his overall abilities, but you all vision him being first round worthy this time next year?
No. He's out of eligibility.
Yeah, this is last year eligibility wise.
Yeah.
So this is definitely his last year.
Yeah, it's his last year. And then he goes on to say, do you think he'll be first round worthy? No. Can we assume what he does this year will truly determine that? Look, Jordan can very well be a Heisman candidate this year and is and deserves to be. Not every player who's a Heisman candidate in college football projects to be a great NFL player. I'm not telling you he can't make it in the NFL. I am telling you that I think most teams would doubt that he is a first-round pick just because of body type.
Yeah, and then
hard. He's not as thick as Jalen Hurts.
It's going to be really interesting in the next 5 months with Bryce Young because there's never been a quarterback drafted like him.
That's slight, and I brought it up the other day.
He's like, I don't know what he's going to weigh at the combine, but he probably naturally weighs 175 pounds at 5'11". But he's going to be a first-round pick. But he's preternaturally got some talents that
that
most people don't have. But yeah, I think we'll know more about Jordan Travis's probably draft stock after what we see what happens with Bryce Young. Is he going to fall into the 20s? Is he going to be the number 2 pick in the draft? Like these NFL teams can talk themselves in and out of a lot of crazy things.
I think Bryce will go really high in the draft, and I think it's a real risk. I mean, there's no doubt that the upside is great, but man, that guy is tiny.
I like him though.
I do too.
Preston, I need to give Preston my cell, and he could just text me instead of because in the chat he's distracting me. He brought up the time when Josh Sweat flew up to Louisville separately because they weren't sure if he was healthy, and they went up separately. But by the time they got there, they were down like 30.
Yeah, so that was the is Josh Storms the secret ingredient to everything Mike is doing?
No,
he's a nice piece of it. I mean, he's a really good piece of it. And again, it goes to what we were talking about before with staffs and having everybody on the same page. Josh Storms is a guy that he's worked with previously, and it was important to bring him here. And he's got a good staff. I like all those guys. They've got a really good strength staff.
Yeah, I don't secret ingredient. I don't agree with the phrasing of that more than anything. I think Josh Storms gets his just desserts, his flowers, as I like to say.
Yeah.
We know about him. And most really good programs have good strength coaches.
Moth writes, which ends up being higher? Florida's number of wins next season or the number of years Billy stays in Gainesville? Ooh.
I'll say Florida wins.
Florida wins. Yeah. What do you think? 6-6, 5-7 next year for Florida?
Could sneak up to 7. They're going to beat Kentucky and Tennessee somehow. Just what happens. They're due to beat both of them.
I don't know if they're going to beat Tennessee.
Look, man, if he doesn't win some games next year, that it's not going to be very long. Yeah.
Timmy writes, which non-quarterback to play at FSU should have won the Heisman? Marvin Jones, Dalvin Cook, Peter Warwick. I mean, if we're talking about guys that could have, should have, Peter Warwick is the answer.
Dalvin Cook not even being invited to New York
was ridiculous.
Is a travesty and will always be a travesty.
Especially in retrospect, when we think about the tail end of Jimbo's time here and what was happening behind the scenes, and Dalvin propping that team up on his shoulders every Saturday.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. He was he got penalized because of what was the way the program was perceived at the time, and then also I just don't think people there was always like this McCaffrey's so much better than Dalvin Cook. There was like this, I don't know, it was a weird.
And Fournette,
it was never appreciated.
It was never ever appreciated.
No,
Work done too, by the way. But
yeah,
he
Dalvin was a freak, man. Knowing what we know, and if you think about, the program was already beginning to fall apart.
But people think of those like the 15 Florida State team because it was coming off a 29-game winning streak. It's just loaded with all this NFL talent. The quarterback was Sean McGuire and Everett Golson. The receivers were Kermit, Travis, Ermon Lane, Travis Rudolph, like nobody that really made any dents in the NFL. The NFL, the line wasn't an NFL offensive line. You had a super duper star at running back, which helped you win all those games.
Michael writes, when talking about the big three, you have to figure Mike is safe in his job right now. While Billy and Mario are possibly wondering if anyone is starting a fire under their seats. Do you think either or both have a chance of being fired in 2023? No. No, I don't.
I mean, 2 and 10. If they fall off a cliff,
it would have to be something like
scandal of some kind.
And
it would
even
have to look like Louisville basketball almost. Like,
Right.
what is this product? It would have to be that bad where they're just quitting and getting blown off the field.
And I don't think there's any scenario with Mario. I do think maybe if there was the quickest hook is going to be on Billy, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think
But it
Billy's.
would be
Yeah, it's not. Yes, definitely not after the end of next year. Question of the decade. So says Brad. How much money is it going to take for us to get out of this conference? We don't know. If we knew, this would be a path. There would be a way by which we were discussing you could get there, but we don't know.
But when you look at how much it would cost Texas, the fact that Texas and Oklahoma
couldn't do it,
aren't doing it, and they only have one more year,
that ain't
tells
good.
you how much money you're talking about. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, we need to get further down the road towards the end of that deal before this ever comes up again, or ESPN decides the asset is such that.
What if they? Is it called retraction? Isn't that what they talked about in Major League Baseball, getting rid of some teams?
They've done that before.
If the ACC just did that, contraction. There you go. Get rid of Pitt. Get rid of BC. All of a sudden, how much? I can't do the math real quick, but that's probably an extra $5 or $6 million per school, right? At least, if you're doing the math.
It could be more than that, but I'm not.
Could you get rid of? Because if we're being real here,
I mean, from a TV standpoint, say it's 30 to 35 million somewhere in there. So if you take away 2, that's 70 million to split between 14, 12 teams now.
12
about
teams.
6 million a year.
Yeah, I mean that's
throw Syracuse in there. Get rid of
absolutely. So that's
get
another
the hell
three,
up out of
that's
here,
another
Syracuse.
3.5. Now
throw
we're at 10.
Duke and Wake in there. Let's go out of here.
Yep. So now you're up
Football
to about 15.
drives the bus these days, boys.
You're about up to 15 million extra a year if you just contract the schools that never do anything for this conference.
But
revenue-wise,
at that point, you don't have a conference, though, is the problem.
Nah, it's fine.
You just have a bunch of independent contractors.
I should be running the show.
Greater redemption arc. The Noles, we got 1 minute. The Noles being 15-6 since the question, or Ira remembering to post the headliner prompt before waking up for his midnight pee.
How about that? That was big yesterday, right?
He did it like when the sun was out.
Yeah.
The sun was still out.
That was well done.
I think that's the better rally. Although, of course, still gets credit. I still get people referencing the question.
15-6, and really, they blew a couple of those games. Honestly, NC State they should have won. Florida last year they should be 17-4 since the question. I did all I could.
Good work out of you, Corey. Good work out of you,
No
Ira.
duh.
Good work out of you, headliners. Thank you, Ken the Carver.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ken. You're the best.
Go get you some shirts. Ira,
Yep.
where do they get the shirts?
SeminoleHeadlines.myspotify.com. Thanks, Matthew. Also,
I was going to say that when I
You
took
said
your
my
mics off,
Spotify.
man. Come on. Anyhow, goodbye, boys. Good job, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Peace.